inside the Kremlin right now. Right now I'm waiting for the beginning of a meeting of the Supreme Council of the Eurasian Economic Union. And the reason why I wanted to go live right now is because it's actually it's a pretty important occasion right now why they're having this meeting for the Supreme Council. And it's also very important also for the socialist world, the socialist bloc inside the multipolar world, I would say. And I'll get into why that is very soon. I'm going to try and get to everything I wanted to talk about pretty quickly because, this whole event was supposed to start 20 minutes ago, but now they're kind of saying it might start at 4. But Vladimir Putin might show up at any minute, and then I'm going to have to get to work because I'm here for obviously a work assignment. But I wanted to share with you guys a little bit about why this meeting is so important and who is going to be in attendance here. So this meeting of the Supreme Council of the Eurasian Economic Union is marking the 10th anniversary, the 10-year anniversary of this organization, which basically is an economic bloc of a lot of former Soviet countries, former Soviet republics. Pretty much all of them, if I'm not mistaken, are CIS countries. And this is not only actually attended by members of the Eurasian Economic Union, but also some observers, and the union itself actually conducts a lot of economic trade and economic cooperation, political cooperation with many socialist countries around the world as well. I also wanted to do this live stream because I'm sure a lot of you probably don't know very much about the Eurasian Economic Union. It's not something that's spoken about so much in the media, so it might be good to give a little attention to it because it's a very important economic bloc in the multipolar world, and it actually does much to aid in the development of socialist countries, and also specifically with Cuba, aid the country's economy against sanctions that are obviously making the economic situation there very difficult, and have been since the foundation of socialist Cuba in general. So, like I said, this is the 10th anniversary, the 10th year anniversary of the formation of the Eurasian Economic Union. And at this meeting that's going to be taking place today, it's going to be chaired by the Prime Minister of Armenia, Pashinyan. But there's also going to be Alexander Lukashenko taking part here, the Belarusian president, the president of Kazakhstan, and the president of Kyrgyzstan as well. Which is why, right now I'm sitting in a room filled with journalists from all different countries. From Belarusian media is here, not just Russian media, but Belarusian media, Kyrgyzstan media, Kazakhstan media. You can see them all around me. If you take a look at the room over here, this is just one of two rooms that the media center has here when we usually do work in what's called the presidential journalist pool, when there's something going on at the Kremlin and we're required to give coverage to the event that's going on. And today it's this Eurasian Economic Union meeting. And just to give you an idea of how important this economic union has been for the development of Eurasian countries, specifically obviously the Eurasian countries that are members of this union. I have some statistics here that you might find interesting. I was given a briefing, some pages. The first thing that I found very interesting reading this briefing is that the total GDP. Кто-то там сидит. Да. Да.
Ну, значит, потому что как бы...
Да. Okay.
Ну, как бы... Ну, принялся сейчас, он отошел. Ну, хорошо, слушайте, тут это тоже людям...
And anyway, sorry, I have to talk to someone. But anyway, the total GDP of these countries that are part of the Eurasian Economic Union Total GDP rose over these 10 years from $1.6 trillion worth to $2.5 trillion worth. That's an increase of almost, a whole $1 trillion worth in terms of GDP of these countries. In 2023, people want to participate in the live stream too. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't. This is my first time doing a live stream on the phone for a very long time, and things have changed. I didn't even know I could see the chat on the screen. But in 2023 alone, the GDP of the Union increased 3.8%. You know, so that's also a pretty big figure, especially with everything that's going on with the Ukraine conflict and everything. But in terms of why it's important for the socialist world, there's a lot of information here that I can bring to your attention. Let me just find it here, because there's a lot of other information about cooperation with all different countries around the world. Okay, here it is. Yeah, there's two documents here specifically, the most important elements that I think are worth talking about of cooperation connected to today's meeting of the Supreme Council. First of all, the president of Cuba is here as an observer to this event. And he's also going to be here attending the victory parade on May 9th. In fact, the working visit of the president of Cuba is taking place started yesterday, and he's going to be leaving after the 9th of May. And there are some interesting things here about this release about previous cooperation between Cuba and Russia through the Eurasian Economic Union, actually. There's a long history in this document. There's a long history about the cooperation between Cuba and Russia, but we're gonna have to go over that. Okay, so for example, this year, in connection to the cooperation between Cuba and Russia and this organization, this year between the 15th and 17th of February, a member of the International Department of the Communist Party of, not just a member, I mean the head of it, of the International Department of the Communist Party of Cuba, joined in an international forum of of countries and nations, people struggling against what they specifically wrote as the modern practice of neocolonialism. So this is something that Russia and Cuba have worked together on in challenging modern neocolonialism. Between the 18th and 25th of April, sorry I'm reading so slow, I'm translating in my head from Russian to English on the spot, so between the 18th and 25th of April, the Interior Minister of Cuba participated in the 12th international meeting of basically security ministers in Moscow. And this is this is an event, if I'm not mistaken, because I have attended this conference before for work. If I'm not mistaken, it happens every year. And this is basically a forum where defense ministers of essentially the multipolar world can join and learn more from each other about how to improve the internal security of their respective countries and deepen cooperation as well. On March 15th in Moscow as well this year, through, again, thanks to cooperation between the two countries and the Eurasian Economic Union. There was the 21st meeting of the Intergovernmental Russian-Cuban Commission on economic trade and technological and scientific cooperation. So there is a special commission just dedicated to that between Russia and Cuba. So obviously Russia does a lot to lighten the burden of sanctions on Cuba through its cooperation with the Cuban island and their economic cooperation through the Eurasian Economic Bloc as well, the Eurasian Economic Union. So this commission also, according to the document that I'm reading right now, this commission also is responsible for governing and carrying out a lot of investment projects in Cuba, and the formation of okay, that's just kind of a legal thing. But anyway, here's it's written all over the place here in terms of how Russia and Cuba are continuing to develop their cooperation in many directions, specifically energy, which is obviously something that Cuba needs right now because of sanctions, energy cooperation, metallurgy, which obviously is another thing that Cuba could really use right now because they don't have very much metallurgical industrial production on the island, and transport infrastructure. Third thing Cuba really needs right now, I don't know if you guys have been following what's been going on in Cuba, but because of sanctions, it's made the economic situation there very difficult, and specifically the transport infrastructure has suffered very seriously. So these are all areas where Russia is consciously cooperating with Cuba to basically, further integrate them into the multipolar world and give them as much help as possible in countering the horrible American blockade against the island that's been there for the longest time. And, obviously didn't present that much of a threat when Cuba had the backing of the Soviet Union, but ever since the collapse, obviously, that completely changed the situation. And, there's also, it's also important to note that Laos, another communist country, another country run by a communist party, is here as well. They're observing the meeting of the Supreme Council of the Eurasian Economic Union, and the president of Laos is also on a working visit, just like the Cuban president who's here. So the president of Laos, I'm not sure if it's a man or a woman. I'm going to assume it's a man. Sorry, I'm not really in the know about the politics of Laos, but the president of Laos, who I'm going to assume is him, is on a working visit as well between today and the 10th. So he's also going to be actually attending the Victory Day parade, along with obviously many other foreign dignitaries, prime ministers, presidents of all different countries, which is always the case every year. There's tons of foreign leaders that attend the Red Square parade. It's an absolutely really cool thing to see. It's by far the largest and most, I would say, spectacular military parade that takes place. Sorry about that. Yeah, my phone's just acting up a little bit. It's definitely the most spectacular military parade that takes place in honor of the victory over fascism in the Second World War. And, sorry, I'm just reading the chat. Jesus loves us. And 2022, only Netanyahu. Not sure what that means, but okay. I've been getting a lot of I've been getting a lot of comments lately, you know, on our stuff on Instagram, on Twitter, on Telegram, where you read the comment and you're like, I'm not sure if they're like taking this side, our side, or if they're against us or something. You just don't understand. But anyway, yes, the Laotian president is going to be attending there, and all different leaders of all different countries from all around the world celebrating the anniversary of the Soviet victory in the Second World War and the defeat of fascism. So, yeah, I just wanted to kind of do a short live stream here for you guys, explaining the significance of what's going on here, significance of this meeting of the Supreme Council of the Eurasian Economic Union, and how it doesn't only have to do with Eurasia, actually. It's not an economic union that is just like some sort of ordinary kind of bourgeois economic bloc. It actually does a lot in terms of helping the development of the weaker parts of the socialist world as well. And of course, it goes without saying, they are regularly cooperating with China. China's like one of the biggest cooperation partners with the Eurasian Economic Bloc as well. So, yeah. I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to go over. I'm going to go get prepared to listen to what Putin's going to say, because he's going to show up any minute now for my day job. Oh yeah, there's another thing I wanted to mention about the May 9th, right? So I'm going to be there covering the event right from Red Square, right from where these foreign dignitaries are going to be watching the parade and everything. And I'm going to take my camera with me, and we're going to make a video. We're going to show you up close footage of the parade, so make sure to look out for that video. We're going to try to get it done as quickly as possible, so probably look out for it over the weekend. But other than that, yeah, so keep an eye out for that. I'm going to get going, got to get to work. But thanks a lot for showing up to this unannounced live stream, comrades. I'm going to try to make more of these when I'm maybe in the Kremlin or some place that you guys might find is cool, and I don't really have that much to do, or I'm just waiting or whatever. Maybe you guys will find it interesting. But anyway, I'll see you on the next video, and Workers of the World Unite.